So Bitcoin had a pullback earlier today, but it looks like it's starting to recover nicely. Let's take a look at MSTY, and I also want to take a look at PLTY to see if we're getting close to that cross on that MACD. Hello my friends, this is Legend. So today we're going to take a look at MSTY, MSTY, and then we'll also follow up with PLTY, PLTY, as I'm kind of interested in the charts after looking at them yesterday and wanted to follow up on that and to see if we can get a move up on PLTY. But to start things off, let's look at MSTY because Bitcoin had a drop earlier today, but it seems like it is coming back quite nice. So let's just check out the Webull chart and see where we're at. All right, so here we are on MSTY for the Webull chart, and as you can see, we closed today green. As you can see these numbers up here at the top, we did close at a 0.19% green, so pretty flat really at that $21.25. But notice that the candle is red. So let's just talk about that and explain why it's red even though it's up for the day. And that's just simply because the opening for today, and if I hover over that candle, you'll see up here at the top, you'll see what those numbers are, and I'll call them out because they're kind of small. That opening for today was $21.30, but it closed at $21.25. So it closed under the open, and therefore you have a red candle. But it's green up here in the top corner at $21.25 because it is 4 cents above the close from yesterday. And yesterday's close, if we hover over this, was $21.21. Plus the 4 cents of today's move gives you the $21.25. So that's why it's green, because the close of today is above the close of yesterday, even though it opened higher than it closed today. So I wanted to explain that and explain why that's a red candle, even though you've got some green numbers up here. So in summary, it did go up today. So let's take a look at the indicators, and to do that, let's switch our chart over to the adjusted. And we can simply just click those 3 lines at the top, switch it to adjusted, hit the done, and there we go. Now, as you can see here, we do have still, again, that red candle. Therefore, we've got some red volume. So that tracks right there. And as you can see, this momentum here and these momentum bars, it is decreasing. So it is trying its best to cross over. And you can look, and that MACD is definitely trying its best to get crossed over on that signal line. It is getting closer and closer. Slowly, but hopefully we can cross over that and not hit it and then get rejected and fall back down. I would love to see this thing cross over and start moving on up. Now you can see that the RSI 14 is at 56. So again, we're pretty much right in the middle of the RSI. And as far as a buy point for me, I like to turn on my Bollinger Band, and I'm looking for my candles to be on that bottom half of that Bollinger Band. And as you can see here, I've got the upper, I've got the mid, and then I've got the lower. I want these candles to be on that lower part. I prefer it to be at the bottom of the lower part, but definitely on the bottom half. And I prefer this yellow line down here on the RSI 2, and that's the RSI 2. I want that to drop below this 10 line. Now that 10 I drew in just for a visual aid. So if that RSI 2 can go below 10, if that candle can be on that bottom half of the Bollinger Band, then for me, that is the time that I'm looking to buy. So all of that is some good signs. And let's take a look at MSTR, because MSTY moves with MSTR. And here we are on MSTR, MSTR. And let me zoom in here so we can see, and the guys in the back of the room can see the chart. So here we are, and again, I do have the Bollinger Band on. it is above that mid of that Bollinger Band. So for me, it's not my buy time. It could be your buy time. You decide on when's the time to buy for you. But for me, I'm looking for bottom of that Bollinger Band, and I'm looking for that RSI 2 to be under that 10. And again, you can see here is that MACD, and that blue line is just trying its best to cross over that signal line. That momentum bars here have been decreasing, so I think we're getting really close to hopefully crossing over that signal line, as that would be a very good sign for a positive move. But of course, we could always get rejected at that signal line and then start coming on back down. Now, I would say that for the charts up here, I do have this line at 403.90. So I think that is going to be a resistance area right there. And we're headed up toward it. But can we get enough momentum here in order to break through it? We'll see. But of course, what pushes Mr.? You got it. Bitcoin. And, well, look at there. Did you see it? It just moved to 110 and dropped back down to 109.9K. I don't know if you, oh, there it went again. So we are just teetering right back on that 110K for Bitcoin. And let me zoom in here, because this morning we had a bit of a pullback. We had a pretty good drop earlier this morning. And as you can see, it went down as low as 108.3K. And that's why you've got this wick at the bottom down here, right? Got that wick, but the fact that it moved back up means that we've got some buyers in here. All right, so that's a positive sign, because we had this nice run up, and you're never sure if that run up is going to hold, or did it run up too fast and there's not enough buyers up here to keep it and it falls back down. But when you start seeing this long wick at the bottom, gives you a little bit more of a confirmation that there are some buyers right in this area. And that's why and how it got pushed back up. And now we're currently sitting at 110K. And another exciting moment right here is, look at the MACD. We are just about to cross. I mean, seems to be on both MSTY and Bitcoin and Mr. We are just inches away of crossing over that signal line. So I'm hoping that we can get across that and start getting some positive movement up and start confirming this move up. Because as you can see, that momentum on the negative side has been decreasing, and now it's just a little sliver. But it's sitting right there on top of that signal line. So we need that momentum to break through and to continue so that we can cross over that signal line and we can confirm this up movement and keep on going. Now the RSI here, we are sitting at 64.25. So we are not in the overbought territory. Another good sign, because if we were at 90 on the RSI, then we could possibly be running out of buyers, right? But the fact that we're at 64, there's plenty of room to continue that movement up. Not guaranteed, of course, but it is just another sign that we could be moving on up on Bitcoin. And as you know, if Bitcoin keeps going up, well, so does Mr., right? And if Mr. moves up, well, then we should also see a nice little move on MSTY as well. So I'm super excited about these. We are getting to some exciting moments. And if we can cross over there on Bitcoin, then we can start moving on up, and then we can start testing those highs at that 112K. Love to see it. And who knows, maybe we'll be able to talk about it this week. But for now, let's just go ahead and check out PLTY. Because yesterday when we were checking out the charts, we saw that it was getting ready to cross. It's really close to crossing. We were moving up on those candles, and I just wanted to follow up on that because now I'm curious myself. But first of all, let's switch this adjusted back to the actual chart just to get an actual movement of those candles. And here we go. As you can see, again, we did have a little green candle today. We are up 0.4% on the day. Now, I think we're going to run into a little bit of a resistance at the point when PLTY starts getting to about 66.83. We can start seeing a little bit of resistance, and we'll compare that to PLTR, as that is the one that's actually going to provide the resistance, right? But the charts will look very similar. So let's just switch over back to the adjusted chart, and let's pull up our Bollinger Band and see if it's the right time to buy. All right, it's on the adjusted chart, and I'm going to turn on my Bollinger Band. And as you can see, we are on the top half of that Bollinger Band. So for me, that's a no on the buy. It just means I'm going to need to wait and be patient for that price to come down a little bit. As you can see, we are just so close to that signal line. The momentum is still decreasing from the negative side, but not by much. It is somewhat flat. But let's check out PLTR, as that is what will be pushing PLTY. And again, you can see that that MACD is about to cross. It is lining up with it. I'd prefer to see more of a turn up with it rather than trying to go parallel with it, because if it can't cross over it, it's probably going to get rejected. And we are getting to the top of that Bollinger Band on PLTR, which will be a bit of a resistance. And you can see this 135.28 being the high from last week. So I think that's going to be a resistance line right there. And we can go ahead and just draw that in just so that we have it for the next time we check out PLTR. So this is at 135.28. And I can just zero that right on into that number, 135.28. Hit the done, and there we go. And we'll thicken that line up so it's easier for you to see. So I think we're getting close to hitting that resistance. I would prefer to have a little bit more momentum going into that resistance spot, but you never know, right? But low momentum could mean that we might end up getting rejected at that 135 area and might come on back down a bit. So I know we did talk about PLTR yesterday, and like I said, with the moves that was making yesterday, I just wanted to check it out for today myself, as it has been moving up for the last couple of days, and today had another nice move up. But I am still wondering if we can get enough move up to break past this resistance line here at that 135.28. We'll see, but the momentum has been pretty low for quite a while. It's been trading pretty much sideways. But if you look, that Bollinger Band has been tightening up, right? Because we're trading sideways, so it's tightening up. So eventually, hopefully, that price will move and then start moving out of that Bollinger Band. And I'm hoping that's to the upside. So let's just compare as far as the percentage wise, because I don't think I did that for MSTY, but we'll go back and do that. But as you can see here, PLTR moved up 0.57% and PLTY moved up 0.4%. So just about captured all of that upward movement. So way to go, PLTY. And for MSTY, we've got Mr. at minus 0.24%. So Mr. actually dropped a little from yesterday's close by 0.24%. And what did MSTY do? Well, we know it was up. Is up slightly, but it was up 0.19%. So actually MSTY did end up outperforming Mr. for today. And notice I said for today. So So don't get too upset into the comments and start telling me that Mr. will outperform MSTY. Yes, I know chances are it will, and it has been, right? But I was just pointing out that today was one of those days that MSTY outperformed Mr. But I appreciate everybody's comments and the discussions that we have, as I think it's very informative and it's a lot of fun. So I appreciate everybody who does comment, and hopefully we can all have very meaningful comments and discussions, even though we may not all agree. So I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. If you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, smash the like button, it would be much appreciated. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, legend out.